All right, what is up, my brothers? We got a requested topic today. This is an interesting one. He's a 26-year-old man that's a creative film director for a pro sports league, and he's looking for some feedback and some guidance here on where he's at. So he says, "Hey, Rich, as always, thank you for the amazing content. I'm always finding your advice helpful, and just ordered your new book. If you haven't got it yet, guys, The Unplugged Alpha, pinned in the top comment. Easy read. You can rip through it in one day. It's 200 pages, super dense. Again, it's cold hard truth bombs. If you're looking for comfort in lies, that's not for you. Skip it. If you're looking for some more clarity on a lot of the concepts that I talk about, grab it. This is mostly a general overview, and I'd love to receive any and all feedback and perhaps a good direction to take my life." He says, "I'm 6'3", 200 pounds, 26-year-old creative director, filmmaker, making $45,000 a year for a pro sports league and still living with parents on the western part of the U.S. I've looked at his website, and from what I gather, it looks like he travels with the team and does their photography for them. I'm actually surprised they only pay 45 grand. You'd expect it would be a little bit more, but there you have it. That is the economics of film work, I guess, for a pro sports team. He goes on to say, "While I have the option to move out and live on my own, and because of the limited funds I have each month after taxes, I'd rather allocate the funds I would be wasting on rent or mortgage on an investment account that I'm continuously putting money into, or buying better filmmaking equipment." Okay, fair enough. I don't see buying a home, if you have the down payment and the means to make the payments on a mortgage, a bad idea, especially in the U.S., because you can write off the interest on your mortgage in the U.S. You can't do that in Canada. And living with your parents at 26, I don't like that. I really don't like that. I'll talk more about that towards the end, though, with the actionable steps here. Okay, so you're continuously putting money, talking about better equipment and land bigger and better gigs. I have been working with this pro sports gig for 3 years now. He says he's had the privilege to travel with the team on the road and go places I never in a million years would have thought to do. With that, I firsthand see the side where every guy dreams of being at, a pro athlete with thousands of dating options at his disposal. That's got to be interesting being on the inside, right? Especially at 26. That's definitely going to be red pilling. Being surrounded by these alphas and the many hours I've spent with them, and even befriending some of them, has really opened my eyes to the world of how I've been able to see female nature when it comes to these top tier guys. He goes on to say, "At 19 years old, I underwent a jaw reconstruction surgery and became slightly more attractive. I almost immediately dove headfirst into the world of pickup and personal development and started looking for ways to upgrade my life and become the best possible version." Now, I did some back and forth with him on the whole jaw reconstruction surgery. He showed me the before and after pictures and some of the x-rays and stuff, and he basically had an underbite, so braces, wiring the jaw shut probably after the surgery. And he lost a lot of weight. He was actually kind of fat before the surgery. So, I mean, bottom line, your attractiveness level goes up when you lose weight. You see more of the jawline, the cheekbones. I mean, they've done lots of study on this. You take the same guy who's 50 pounds overweight and he drops to 50 pounds to a healthy, normal weight, he's always going to look more attractive. It's really difficult to tell how much influence, from what I saw from the before and after, the reconstruction of the jaw had. It obviously made him feel better. If you haven't read Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, that's an interesting read. You might want to check that out as an aside. That's also my recommended book reading list. But anyway, so he went through the surgery. He felt better about it to date. He says, "I've been with thousands of dates with women and bedded 39 of them." I like how he said bedded. But never had an LTR, which according to you and Rollo might be a blessing in disguise. Absolutely, dude. In your 20s, you do not want to get into LTRs, okay? It's just far too distracting for most guys, and most guys don't fully understand female nature and what they're getting into anyway. So it often... the way that it usually ends when guys get into LTRs in their 20s is they end up putting her first, they abandon their dreams and their purpose, and they become less so she can become more. And at the end of it all, she usually turns him into a plow horse and then leaves him. That doesn't always happen in that sequence, but that's what I've seen a strong pattern, a strong reoccurring pattern of anyway. Anyway, he goes on to say, "I've been told I'm good looking, but always refuse to believe it. As on the flip side, I've always been told I'm unattractive." So he's heard he's attractive. He's also heard he's unattractive. He linked his social. He's definitely on the higher end of the SMV scale, like between 5 and 10, depending on, how it is that you want to rate. But where do you go? Good looking, unattractive. Okay, so it's either I'm really great or really bad. You know what? Like, watch women's behaviors. Ignore what they're saying. Watch what they do and what they choose to do with you. And if they have strong, genuine, burning desire. There's an important chapter in my book on that. When you get to it, you'll completely understand. So he goes on to say here, I'm not sure where I rank in this imaginary scale, but I think I'm on the upper tier. Yes, you are. Of the SMV scale compared to other guys. I'm not in the greatest of shape. So at 6'3", 200 pounds, and again, I saw some of the pictures. Yeah, you want to signal the optics of masculinity. Broad shoulders, narrow waist. Think of a swimmer's body. Don't think bodybuilders. Think of a swimmer's body. That's the most attractive to women. At 6'3", I'm about the same height as you. I'm just a little bit shorter. I'm just a hair under 6'3", and I'm about 212 right now. So yeah, you could definitely put on some muscle for sure. That will help a ton. I like to think more upper terms. Okay, I'm not in the greatest shape. He says he has a personal trainer and recently started HCG. For those of you that don't know what HCG is, human chorionic gonadotropin. They often script this to guys on testosterone replacement therapy, so that their body's endocrine system still continues to work, and then the testosterone just a little bit of a top up on that to get you to healthy levels in your 20s. This is the protocol that I'm on, as you know, like a 47-year-old guy right now. This is unusual for a 26-year-old guy to be scripted HCG, in my view. But he has low T, so he's in the 400 level range, which is pretty low on the scale. So he currently sits at 400, hoping that he'll gain more muscle and burn fat. It'll probably help. You need to make sure your diet is in check. You've got low stress and you're sleeping well, and you've got the right supplementation. I know you said earlier you read my book. I have an entire chapter in my book dedicated to naturally raising testosterone and what TRT is and when you should get into it. So you'll get to that when you get to it. He goes on, if it doesn't, I might look into TRT above all things, hoping to button down in the looks issue. So before I go over here to this actionable step, is ask, you want to be very, very careful. Like at 26, when you go on TRT, you're basically on it for life, okay? So if you're going to go on testosterone replacement therapy at 26, that's pretty young. In my view, you should be able to get your endocrine system working properly if you follow the advice that I put in that chapter with all the things that you can do to improve it naturally. There's some cases where guys can't. My buddy Jay Campbell, I've done some casts with him before on my channel. You can look them up. I think he was a pro basketball player, or he was semi-pro, and I think he either got hoofed in the nuts or he took a ball to the nuts, and basically his endocrine system shut down. And I think he was on it from his early 30s onwards. It never recovered. So there's injuries that can cause your testes not to produce properly. So it doesn't sound like that's your case. Try to do it naturally before you rely on TRT would be the first bit of advice that I would give you. He goes on to say, what are some actionable steps? This is just another email. I just copied and pasted it in just to make sure his address doesn't show. What are some actionable steps I could take in life, and what should I focus on given my life situation? Right away at 26, get the hell out of your parents' house. That is not a good move for anybody. You're too close to the household. You've got shit way too easy. You're obviously not paying rent. I mean, I'm not trying to crap on this free rent parade that you've got right now that works for you, but I was basically paying rent to my parents 15 years old. I think I started, helping out with run around the house. And that's just the way that my folks were. They didn't want to give me anything free. I never got free money. Like, if I wanted to buy anything, I'd have to go get a part-time job, deliver newspapers, shovel people's driveways for cash, stuff like that. And that's how I would earn money. So, the bonus round that you've got right now to 26, living in your parents' house, not paying rent, probably not paying for food, not paying for a cleaning lady, maybe getting free meals. I don't know what the deal is, but get the hell out of the house. That's not good for any guy. When you get into your 20s, early 20s are kind of forgivable, 21, 22, 23, I'd say, okay, fine. But at 26, you're really pushing it. Get the hell out of the house. Spend money on rent. Get some roommates. If you have the amount to put down on a house or a condo or a town or something like that for a down payment, buy it. You can write off your mortgage interest payments in the States. Housing is way cheaper in the States, way, way, way cheaper. So there's absolutely no reason that you should be living in your parents' house if you have the means to get out of it. I don't know where you live in the Western U.S. Somewhere like L.A. or San Diego would probably be very expensive. Other places a lot less, in the West. But you get the idea. If you're not there, get the hell out of the house. I'm not the biggest fan of the 9 to 5, and I love the idea of starting my own business and not having to deal with office politics in the workplace. But unfortunately, this job is the only thing I've got going financially, along with the occasional freelance gig. I'd rather focus on that thing than going on different directions and going nowhere at all. Okay, so a few things. Again, move the hell out of the house, fix your endocrine system, see if you can get your balls working properly and you get decent T levels. I know guys that I've seen their tests, and at 30, 31, I've seen it as high as 1,000 or even slightly higher. So it's entirely possible to do it naturally if you take the right actionable steps. Again, that part's in a chapter. As far as your next steps with not having a 9 to 5, well, you've got a gig filming and doing photography work for this professional sports team. Here would be my advice. You're clearly the artistic type. I can totally tell by your pictures. Cool. Roll with that. That's the look. I mean, you've definitely got a look going for you. It's a good look. Keep going with that. If you've been doing this gig with a sports team and you mentioned that you've befriended some of the members of the team, I can't imagine what highly prolific guys out there that run social media pages pay their photographers. I know that not even almost, but all of these high-end athletes, actors, business icons, they pretty much have like an entourage, which includes a photographer, videographer around with them all the time. I don't know what Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson would pay his guy, but it's got to be a hell of a lot more than $45,000 a year. Way, way, way more than that. So you've got some top shelf athletes. Befriend them. Make sure you stay in touch with them. Maybe work for other teams as well. Befriend them, stay in touch with them, and see if you have an opportunity in the next few years to become their personal photographer or videographer. That's what I would be doing. I think that would probably be your best angle. It placates to your passion. I noticed in some of the other stuff, in some of the posts, you've been doing this since you were a kid, even with VHS players. So I'm glad that you're doing what you like. I'm pleased with the effort that you made, and it's good that you're asking for clarity here. But those are the things that I would be doing. So I hope that helps. Please take some positive action towards that. You got to do the work and all that good stuff, as I always say. Pinned in the top comment, lots of stuff there for you guys to dig into. If you want to book me for coaching, you want to get in my men's community, you want to get a copy of my book, it's all there. I even have the recommended reading list for other books that I recommend within Evo Psych to help guys level up and understand a little bit more about the way the world works. But yeah, if you haven't got my book yet, get it. It's cheap. It's $10. There's tons of action-packed information. And if you enjoy it, make sure you leave a nice positive review on Amazon for me. It helps me out a ton. Thanks for watching. Smash the thumbs up. Leave a comment below if you have some additional ideas for this guy. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.